Yeah, so I've been letting my thoughts stew a little bit. Um, I finished The Boys season 5 a couple days ago, and I'm just really disappointed. The first 4 seasons of The Boys are just so good, you know, and I realize that it skews a little bit left in the plots department, and that's fine. Uh, I understand that a writer's bias is going to come through in his work, and even on committee writing, like I'm sure The Boys is. Uh, so, the writers are a little left leaning. Want to make some illusions about MAGA and Homelander and Trump serving as or Homelander, serving as a proxy for Trump. And okay, it never got heavy-handed. I'll put it that way. It never got, deep into it, like The Handmaid's Tale. You could still enjoy it. You just have to look past the bias, and that's in every media. Okay, every media that you read or see or hear, it comes from an artist who has their own views, and a lot of times those views seep into their work. Okay? You separate the artist from the work at all times. Maybe not, if they're like, a kitty diddler or something, but still, you try, because art should stand separate from the artist whenever you can. But this past season, the writing was just especially weak. The dialogue was not snappy like it had been. It seemed very contrived. When you're writing, to promote the plot, if to promote the plot you have to have your characters do something stupid, it's not a good plot point. Okay, erase it, edit it, take it out, and go back. And for majority of The Boys, that's mainly what you had. You had pretty interesting characters, especially Homelander. Doing a villain correctly is so difficult. And Homelander had depth to him. You could see why he was the way he was. I guess that promotes a little bit of sympathy, but he never crossed into anti-hero territory. He was always, just a very terrible person. And kudos to the actor who played him. I didn't care for him in Banshee, but man, he nailed this out of the park. Which makes it all the more disappointing, the season finale. There will be spoilers, if that's not obvious. So they spend 4 seasons building up to this incredible confrontation between Butcher and Homelander, and man, they just really punked out. Instead of giving this incredibly rich villain his due, which would have been something a lot different. They basically just pulled a Scooby-Doo and said, let's see what we really got, who's under the mask here. And they pull it off, and he's this sniveling crybaby who says that he will eat shit on camera and suck dicks on camera. Man, it's just, why bother? If you're going to reduce a character to black and white like that, to just simplified motivations, Okay. Why bother spending 4 seasons building him up? You didn't need to do that. You could have just had him, as some psychopathic villain who, goes around just, serial killing people and murdering people and getting away with it, with no remorse. But instead, you build up this, very nuanced character. It feels like a rush job. It feels like y'all either didn't have the time to give Homelander a proper ending, or you were following orders from on high. Regardless, it's just very disappointing. You certainly could have written an ending to where Homelander is defeated and gets his just due, and is, but you couldn't do that. You went with the cheap shot. What a missed opportunity, And yeah, it feels like a really woke exit. I guess there were some people who enjoyed seeing Homelander revealed as this, crying, cowardly baby. But he still could have been revealed as a cowardly, crying baby without having to just, completely go nuclear. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm not making sense. I just hate to see a really well-developed character get shit on like that. He deserved better. And we, the viewers, deserve better. We deserved something with complexity. We needed something that gave us closure. And for me, it's not there. For me, it's like the Homelander in the final episode has nothing to do with the Homelander in the rest of the series. Anyhow, thank you for 4.5 good seasons. Anyhow, I suppose that hoping that a series will end on a good note, like 6 feet under. I guess they can't all be 6 feet unders, can they? No. So, anyhow, take care.